Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I just saw this really interesting story and I wanted to share it with you. And I was like, let's talk about this. So, hi! I have a new story to talk to you about. Yay! And it's totally different. I hope you want to listen to it. Yay! Okay, so hey, this is Katie and it's time to talk. All right, so Katie Joy is Thursday. I'm feeling a little kooky. It's one of those, I haven't slept very much. I've been spending all my nights up waiting for this election to be over, trying to just preoccupy myself. Yesterday, I did not put out a lot of content because I was literally just like glued to my phone and to the results. Now today, I'm back to work. So let's talk about Justin Bieber because I've never really done this on this channel. And by the way, I have been following this story for a while and I just saw this happen to pop up. And I'm familiar with Hillsong, which is the church that he was involved with. And I thought, being that we cover some fundy content on this channel and being that we sort of have this interest around these sort of organizations, let's talk about this because Justin Bieber's one-time spiritual advisor was actually just fired by his church for what they say are moral failures. So before we get into the story, can you do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, do me a favor as well and subscribe down here if you like this kind of content. And as well, if you're interested, turn those notifications on so you know when I go live or when new content uploads. If you want to follow me on Instagram at Without a Crystal Ball or on Twitter at WOACB Official to find out what I'm doing when I'm not on YouTube, do that as well. Okay, so Justin Bieber is obviously humongous in this world. He is a kid that grew up in the industry. He has been ridiculously successful with his music. He has also struggled with his mental health, I believe he has talked about publicly. He's also publicly talked about having to grow up in the limelight, make mistakes. You know, he at one point was sort of all over the place, making really tough decisions, getting into all kinds of trouble, and in the last several years has really calmed down a lot. And a lot of people have actually credited that not only to his wife, Haley, but also to the fact that he is now involved with this church and all of these sort of spiritual people. Back in around 2014, he started hanging out with this guy named Lentz, who is a pastor for a church, a mega church called Hillsong. Now, if you're not familiar with Hillsong, they are a church that was originally founded in Australia. They are actually most well known, I would say, not just for the church itself, but for their band. They make worship music, and they make really good worship music if you like worship music, you know what I mean? Like, I used to go to a church and Hillsong music would play there. I don't obviously go to church at all anymore, but I will say that they had pretty good contemporary music for worship. Hillsong is sort of one of those leading for if you want to go to sort of a rock band kind of church. And so with that sort of persona as being the contemporary Christian place, it's been able to seduce or perhaps attract a lot of celebrities, and Justin Bieber was one of those celebrities. And so Lentz kind of came in around 2014, 2015, when Justin was going through a lot of personal stuff, dealing with a lot of sort of those issues. You know, he would get speeding tickets and he would get in trouble. He was, you know, on and off with Selena Gomez. There was just so much going on that, you know, he needed help, and he's always had, you know, his mom and his dad, and there's always been questions of like, was he being exploited and what kind of supervision did he have? So it seemed as though when these spiritual guys came into his life, he generally kind of calmed down and has gotten to become a lot more faithful. So now he's married to Haley, and he spends a lot of his time with these church friends. And for a long time, Lentz, who was a lead pastor at Hillsong until a couple days ago, was seen with Justin a lot. But as recently as September, Carl stopped posting anything at all about Hillsong, and Justin and Carl haven't necessarily been seen together in quite some time. Now, they do follow each other still on Instagram, and he does still spend time with other people from Hillsong, but he hasn't necessarily been seen with Carl in a while. And at one point, there was some suggestion that there was kind of a rift between Carl and Justin. Yesterday on Hillsong's website, they made a shocking announcement about Carl And it was left vague to the point where it made some people sort of be like, wait, what? What happened? So on Hillsong's website, this is what they said. An announcement from Hillsong Church Global Senior Pastor Brian Houston. Today, Hillsong Church East Coast advised our congregation that we have terminated the employment of Pastor Carl Lentz. This action was not taken lightly and was done in the best interest of everyone, including Pastor Carl. We thank Pastors Carl and Laura for the way they have served faithfully and sacrificially since the start of Hillsong New York City, and for contributing so significantly to the countless lives that have been transformed for Jesus Christ through the ministry. They have a heart for people and are confident that after a time of rest and restoration, God will use Carl in another way outside of Hillsong Church. In terminating his tenure, we in no way want to diminish the good work he did here. This action has been taken following ongoing discussions in relation to leadership issues and breaches of trust, plus a recent revelation of moral failure. It would not be appropriate for us to go into detail about the events that led to this decision. Our focus at this time is to honor God and pastorally care for our East Coast church community, as well as the Lentz family. While I have no doubt that this is the right course of action, I must mention Bobby's and my personal sadness, as we have known Laura her entire life and Carl for well over 20 years. Hillsong East Coast serves as all of our ministries will proceed as usual, and we will continue to be a place of hope, love, and faith through the powerful, transforming messages of the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is a message our nation and our world need to hear more than ever during a time of such instability and uncertainty. I appreciate the great team of people who serve here, and as we embark on the process of selecting new leadership, we are praying that God would bring about an exciting new season for our church and the region. They will be making no more further comments on the matter, they said. That goes out, and Carl hasn't said anything. He actually hasn't posted very much at all on his Twitter or his Instagram. Once a very prominent featured person that would post a lot on Instagram really hasn't posted anything at all since September. His Twitter has been basically dormant for a long time. So it makes me wonder, like, what is the moral failure? He and Laura have been, I think they recently celebrated like 17 years of marriage, maybe more. And he was the leader or the lead pastor of Hillsong in New York. Now, Hillsong is a conservative Christian church. They are not super into a lot of different things. Moral failures could be really anything that they don't believe in. And I have no idea what that would be. So there's no need to speculate, but it's like, I wonder what happened. I wonder what's going on here. And a breach of trust, like, that makes me, I don't even know. Like, what do you think that could mean? Now, Justin hasn't responded at all. Justin still follows him. He still follows Justin. But Carl is now without a job, and he and his wife, Laura, are apparently moving on. In the beginning of the statement, it almost sounded like it was like this mutual decision. But then they basically say, like, for the best interest of the church, we're terminating him. So something big must have happened. And I'm guessing we're going to hear more in the days and weeks to come. But I would love to hear what your thoughts are. What do you think happened here? And how do you think they will respond? And will Justin Bieber respond? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.